do you make culture change happen? Uh, go on, Silvina, you want to go first?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I make the culture change. I think I enable or facilitate the change to happen, which is not the same thing. One person or a group of people cannot make the culture change just because they want it. So you can set the ground, you can add fertilizer so that then the plants can grow. And you follow that and you adapt. Otherwise, having a plan ahead of time, culture change is not something, or culture evolution is not something that will happen in 1 month. Okay, so you can, but on the other side, you cannot plan for 1 year of activities and things and say, this is what I will do. You'll end up changing that. So you need to change it. Otherwise, it's not good. So yeah, enabling change is the word I like to use, the phrase I like to use.
We're similar vein. We talk about what are the conditions we need to create as leaders so that that culture emerges. So very much in the same vein of not thinking it's something we're going to do. At the same time, I think what's been really helpful is being clear on a couple of the important shifts, whether those are behaviors or mindsets, but just a couple to start with. We have the tendency to write 10, and just none of us can keep track of 10 things we're supposed to do differently. But I can keep track of one, particularly if you can actually name the behavior you want to see to the point where you can give me feedback. And that's, I find that's often really hard. We talk still superficially about mindset change. And it's one of my pet peeves. I'll be in a meeting and people will say mindset 50 times. I'm like, what mindset though? Like, can you name it? Like, describe it so that I can give you feedback. I think that's really helpful to get down to that level of granularity on a couple things that particularly leaders can start to role model differently, and then commit to give each other feedback and to commit to ask for feedback and to be open and a bit vulnerable with their folks. And the other thing I think that we have learned is the power of invitational, to invite people in, to co-create the way forward in terms of the how. Particularly when you have that broad aspiration, the really compelling why. I'm a pretty big believer there's lots of ways to get someplace. There's lots of ways to get up a mountain. It's not, some are probably more painful than others, but actually if someone owns that way forward, it's so much more powerful if they can create that movement and get those, that 25% going, as Silvina said. So that's something we've learned. It's just the power of leaders to convene, to invite people in, and then let them actually figure out the way forward. Brilliant. You need some patience. You need some patience. It goes so fast, but it sticks. The likelihood that it sticks is much better than if you try to top down define a way forward and say that's what everyone's going to do, and I'm going to manage that change. I don't think that works anymore. I don't know if it ever did.
And I think the one I really like, or some of the stuff that I really like there, but particularly was the creating the conditions. I think it's like almost, the framework we use in the People Experience Hub talks about just 3 simple areas, which are kind of the environment people are in, the experience they have, and the outcomes. And we've seen time and time again that it's the environment is the lever you pull that gives you the experiences. So if you want people to have experiential stuff going on in your workplace, it's environmental levers. It's line manager behaviors, it's line manager approaches, it's strategy, it's senior management, it's the way of working, it's systems. And I think also, in terms of what Walt was saying, I think if you think that you're going to decide the culture of your organization, then think again, because you've got 2 choices. I think one is fail, and then the other one is bring people in and start co-creating that. Someone early on asked, are there any blogs or books that people would recommend? And I don't know if we're going to go back to that, but I have one that I recommend every single time, which was a book written by a US professor called Systemantics. And it's cool. I've got it here. Systemantics, the Systems Bible, the Beginner's Guide to Systems Large and Small. And if you can find a hard copy of it, it's going to cost you a fortune. Amazon have it on ebook. I recommend it. It talks about organizational systems, it talks about global systems, and don't think of systems as technology, think of it as systems of working, interplay between two departments. And there's some great stuff in there around, you know, it's the system that you start, you will not be controlling that. It will go off. People in the system will make that happen. So you need to create those conditions and enable them. So I think it's both those points, enabling and conditions, and that will at least give you a culture.